Hey, folks, welcome to another episode in the series. This series is called SEO Mañana. And in SEO Mañana, we will be going over how to create search engine optimization for your project. Hey, I went live earlier this week, went live earlier this week. And I was talking about very transparently how, just like buying a technician's car, sometimes the car is not very well maintained because he's busy working on everybody else's cars, or, never buy an electrician's house, never stories. And to some extent, that stereotype is true, meaning Mañana no Mas has been growing like crazy for the last 18, 24 months, maybe. And between the move from California to Kansas and the growth in the agency and working with people all over the world to bring the products to our customers that we do, let's just be honest. We fell aside in providing those services to ourselves. And so I went live at the beginning of the week and I said, hey, here's a wake up call. Need to follow through on this thing, need to set some things up. And I thought to myself at that time, I said, what a great opportunity. What a great opportunity for content to be able to show people what we do with search engine optimization at the agency level. Now, I want to be very clear. There are people that are experts in search engine optimization, people that live, eat, and breathe, and it's full-time, all they do. So those folks might have a leg up on the search engine optimization side, but as a full-service agency, we need to be able to provide the ability to consult with our businesses, build out their e-learning and membership websites, build out their e-commerce portals, integrate with their, whether it be a customer resource management tool that's outside of the site, or build them a CRM inside their website, make sure all those integrations are complete and all those things. So as you can see, there's a lot of items that we cover at Mañana no Mas, along with consulting and public speaking. So when you put all that together, and you go, okay, how do we offer this service to our clients? I think one of the first steps is in demonstrating that we understand those services for our clients. So what I want to do is I want to dive into a screen share with you guys. And this is the back end of Mañana no Mas right here. And this is our Yoast search engine optimization. Now, I promised you last week, we'll probably look at a few different tools in the series. And I may bring in a couple of extra websites, so I'm not polluting one site with the results of another from a different tool, that kind of thing. But what I want to do here is say, okay, when you set up Yoast, there's some things in the setup that you want to be aware of. And so here's our general host, right? General Yoast setup page. And it says problems 0, notifications 0. That's great because when you go into the system, when it first loads, it checks your site for obvious issues. That doesn't mean that search engine optimization is set up. Yoast isn't like set it and forget it. Search engine optimization is like set it and then continue to tweak it for the rest of your life. It's one of those things that doesn't really go away. So when we go into first time configuration, there were some steps. Search engine data optimization. And I ran through this when I did the installation, but let me go through it with you just so you see it from my perspective and you know what to expect. So when you go in here, you're going to say edit, and that starts a series of tasks. So it's going to say SEO data optimization. And what this is going to do is just take some data right from your website and say, we've successfully analyzed your site and optimized your SEO data. Okay. You click continue, goes to the next one. And you're going to say site representation. Are you an organization or a person? So if you're an author, speaker, coach, you might select person. If you're an organization, obviously you're going to select organization. You put in your website name, the name of your company, organization, or person, and then you put in a logo. So this logo, Yoast will propagate this through different Google searches and things like that. And so if there's not a logo or graphic supplied in your content, it may default back to that. So you want to have something like your logo that is easily recognizable. Now we're going to hit save changes and we're going to go to social profiles. Social profiles is where you put in, ta-da, the information that you want to connect to, right? So I've got Facebook, I've got x.com, and I've got YouTube, and I also put in my LinkedIn. Now, you notice these say other social profiles, right? So you can just keep adding these as you got them. You could put in, your TikTok and your Instagram and all that stuff. But for now, I've got Facebook, X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I'm going to save those changes. That's going to take us to personal preferences. And for personal preferences, are you open to help us improve our services? I say yes. I don't mind if plugin developers, use my data to make stuff better. So we've got that, save changes. And now we're going to go to save the changes. And then the next will be finish the configuration. So when you click learn how to increase your rankings on SEO, it takes you right out to an educational portal where you can learn more about Yoast, or you can say go to your SEO dashboard. So I'm going to go right to the dashboard. And now that we're done with, let me go down to the Yoast menu here. Now that we're done with those with those settings right there, I'm going to click on settings. And we're going to take a look at how we actually have things configured to work within our site. Now, I've already gone through and made sure that these features are turned on. And even though I might not be immediately using these features, I want to make sure that they're available to me. I'm using Yoast Pro, so I want to make sure that everything that Yoast has to offer, I've got turned on. So cornerstone content, text link counter, internal linking suggestions. I want to make sure that I'm getting the full bang for the buck. So I've got those things turned on. Now let's go into site basics. Site basics is going to say, what is your website name? Now, alternative website name would be like, how some sites have these really long URLs, and you want an alternative URL, possibly a shorter one, and that would normally get pushed to like mobile, right? So if you think in terms of, mobile, desktop, tablet, you want to have a shorter URL if you have a longer URL. A good example of that is I made the website for the friends of the Corona Public Library.com, right? And so that's an organization. And then of course they have an acronym for that, which is much shorter. So they would use the longer version for the website name. They would use the shorter version for the alternate website name, and then a tagline. You don't need a tagline, but I went ahead and put one in. Since Mañana was founded in 2008, our tagline has always been getting it done yesterday. All right. Title separator. This can be anything that you want it to be. And the default is right there. I just left it as the default. So in your search results, when it says like website space with some kind of symbol and then the name of the page or the name of the blog post, that's what that title separator is. Site image. I wanted to have a site image in here. This I loaded in. This is like a fallback. So if my post doesn't have an image, it will go to this image as a default. So we've got that. Site preferences. I have restrict advanced settings for authors. Usage tracking I have selected. Publishing principles. This comes down to like, the best way for me to describe this would be like newspapers, magazines, people that make a lot of content. Google's trying to get rid of like fake news and stuff like that. So they ask for extra information from folks in that range. And so if you're not a newspaper or a magazine, you don't necessarily have to go through that and kind of select answers here, because realistically, those things don't matter to you. Now, what I did put in, it said actionable feedback policy. I did put my privacy policy in. I just thought it would be good to have that, but it's not necessary. So now we go to site representation. Again, am I an organization or a person? Mañana is an organization. So organization name. And I know that this seems repetitive, but it's giving you the opportunity to make sure things are complete. And now I have select an image. Now, if we look here, this image, so when we go to site representation and we look at how this is, if we go and look at some kind of a Google listing, and let's pick, I work with Lifter LMS. So let's go with Lifter LMS. Okay. And we're going to see we've got a sponsored listing that's right here. Here's a little logo, right? Here's the name. Here's a link. Let's go down to another sponsored one. And then the first one through search. Look, Lifter LMS has their logo, their company name. They have their company name. This is their title separator, and then create and sell online. And then look, they've got a whole page breakout, and they've got an excerpt right here. So these are all things that we can pay attention to as a good example of what we're looking to do with our Yoast setup. Okay. So if I go back to this page and I go, wait a minute, that Mañana no Mas logo doesn't look right, right? It's cropped oddly. So this is a square instead of a 16:9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this image. And let me see if my media library comes up fast enough. I'll just upload I have a square version, and you guys probably don't even see it on the page because I have the tab selected and not the window. So let me just grab it real quick, and I will load this in. You know, while that's loading, I'm going to give you guys a treat. How about this? Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right, so now we have the right image in place. And I'll take this back down. That song is one of those AI songs. I thought it was fun, so I put it in there. So let's take a look at some of these profiles. We've got a Facebook. We've got a Twitter. We've got Mastodon, which apparently Yoast pre-filled in with theirs. I don't have a Mastodon profile. We've got YouTube. We've got LinkedIn. If I take a look at Twitter here, that is a username and not a link, and everything else is a link. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change this to a link. There we go. Okay. And we're going to save that change. Additional organizational information. This is like a tagline or like kind of a meta statement that's going to go in my listing. So I took the time to write this out. So this is more of a custom accent now, right? So full service agency with fractional CMO options to include public speaking, strategy coaching, website services, writing, and consulting. So we've got that in place. And for the organization email, I'm picking an email that's not typically my personal email. So this is a company email, and this will go to the company email box. I'm using a company phone number, our legal name, when we were put together, how big our company is. And then this stuff here, I really don't need to fill in. You can if you want, but you don't need to fill that in. So we're going to go, we already saved our changes when we added the link. So I'm going to go up here to site connections. And this is going to feel repetitive because now it's asking us for all of these different things. Site connections is not the same as connecting to your social. What this is asking for is your codes. Like, so this is your Bing SEO code, your Google SEO code, your Pinterest code, and your Yandex code, if those are all things that you have access to. So if you want to get your verification code for Google, you would go to your Google Search Console. And I'll go in later and I will add the Bing and the Google stuff that I have on file. So let's go next. We're going to take a look at homepage. It says you can determine the title description for the homepage by editing the homepage itself. And you can determine the title and description for the blog page by editing the blog page itself. So the material to add SEO to each of those items will be directly in those edit pages. Now for posts, this is interesting. If we take a look, do you want your post to show up in your search results? Obviously, we're going to say yes, right? So we're going to say yes. And this is kind of the default setting that comes up. So we're going to have the SEO title, right? So we would have, if we think about how this would come up in a Google search result, we've got the title, separator, title, the page name, separator, site title. Realistically, if we are looking at posts, we really just want to have the title, because if we take a look at other really good representations of what is out there, if we want to like see here, Lifter LMS, WordPress LMS for learning, right? Lifter LMS versus LearnDash, what's right for you? They're not putting in you know, uh, website title, all these things. They're just putting in the basic title of the content. And so we want to follow those good examples. So we're going to say that. And then what I want to do here, I think I can put in this and put in excerpt. There we go. Okay. So what I just did was, this is an automation for the meta description that'll come up in the search area, like this is, like this is, like this is, like this is. That's going to come from the excerpt area of the actual post now. So I inserted that variable. So automatically it's going to take the excerpt from my post or my page, and it's going to put it in for my search engine description of a post. So that's going to be right there for my meta description. Okay. It says social media appearance. This is another one of those instances. It says this image is 1200 by 675. So I think that's going to be, I wonder if this one fits the bill. And let me put that in place. This is pretty stinking close. So I'm going to leave this for now, and I may come back and change this later. But what we're doing is we are adding a social image as a backup. So if we have a featured image in our blog post, it'll use the featured image. But if we don't have a featured image in our blog post, it'll throw up this image as a default. And then social title, I just want to do the title. Social description, I'm still going to say excerpt. Okay, so we've got that. And this is interesting. So for schema, a lot of people see these terms and are like, what is this talking about? We're talking about blog posts, right? So we want to say, okay, is it showing us the contact page? Is it showing us, search results? Is it showing us profile page? We want to stick with web page, but now we need to think an article and a blog post. These are two similar but different things. A blog post, generally in SEO terms, is talking about your opinion. So if you're a blogger and you're writing your opinion about a lot of things, like maybe you're a travel journalist or something like that, blog post kind of fits. But if you're someone that is in business, like Mañana no Mas, and a lot of your content is how to or informative, more from a teaching standpoint, then you want to select article. And so, just knowing the difference in how Google sees that is going to help you a little bit. And then it says additional settings, enable SEO controls and assessments, show or hide our tools and controls in the content editor. I'm going to say to show those, and we're going to save these changes. Okay, now we're going to go back up. We're going to go through the same type of thing. Now, I have Lifter LMS installed, so I have custom post types that are memberships and courses. I don't really need to put those into my search engine optimization at this point, but I do want to cover my pages. And if we go through pages, here we are again, title, page, separator, site title. So what I want to do is I just want to take those out, go straight to title, put in the excerpt like we had talked about before. I have an image that I put in place already. I've got categories listed, right? Social primary category is a social description. Title. We have primary type as web page. And remember, we're in pages now. So for pages, am I looking at blog posts? Typically not. So I am going to say none for the default. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and save those changes. Now, like I said, if you're using custom fields or, like I have Lifter LMS installed, so I have some custom post types, those are going to show up in this area. And you can choose to, set those up, or, you can choose to not. And so for memberships, I'm going to say, don't worry about showing the memberships in my search results, and don't worry about showing the courses in my search results. Now, this is different for different people. If your business, like I'm an agency, so I'm focused on helping other people know how to set up memberships and courses and things like that. But if I was someone that was actively selling courses, I would probably want to optimize that. And I may come back and change that later anyway. Remember, we can change these things. And so I'm going to go ahead and save that change. And now I can't remember if I saved it in memberships or not. I'm going to go ahead and yep, no, we're good there. Okay, so I got it. So that memberships courses, that's in place. Categories and tags. I am going to say that I don't really need to search engine optimize the course categories. Save changes. Course difficulties, I don't need to save that. Again, these are custom things that are popping up from Lifter LMS. Course tags, I don't need to search engine optimize those. Course tracks, I don't need to optimize those. Okay, now I am not discussion tags. Notice how it said display more, so now I'm seeing more, right? Link categories. Your situation may be different. Okay, maybe you've got some reason that you want to do this. Now, one thing that I was told by a search engine optimization guru was that sometimes if you are promoting the blog posts and you are promoting the website pages, and then you start trying to search engine optimize tags and categories, what I was told was in some cases it can cause duplicated content in the Google search algorithm. And Google doesn't like duplicated content, and you can get pinged for that. And so the rest of the stuff we will cover in another section. All right, because I feel like this video is going long enough. And so one of the things, let me get back over to my StreamYard. There we go. A couple of the things that I had been advised against or told against was if you try to search engine optimize absolutely everything in your site, what happens is when people search it, sometimes it pops up, the page, the blog post, the category, the tag, the taxonomies. And if that happens, for a moment, you think to yourself, oh, I'm, 6 out of the top 10 results. And you think, oh, I'm fantastic. Google sees that and they go, no, you're not fantastic. We're going to have to take that away from you, right? So we're going to have to get that to be more of a, I don't want to say an organic search, right? But we need that. We need the search to be a representation of what is searched, not a like a spamming effect inside the search results. I'm trying to say this in a way that makes sense. And so, hold on, what do we have here? There we go. Well, folks, I think that brings us to an end on this one. Again, I promised you guys at the beginning of the week that we would come out with a series. I had a couple of suggestions on names. SEO Mañana seemed to rise to the top, at least in our little small circle. So the SEO Mañana series is all about following through. We're really big on content. I mean, we've got hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube. We've got hundreds of blog posts in the mañananomas.com website. The standard Mañana Nomas side of the site, without the blog posts, is full of equitable content. And without the search engine optimization in place, we're just not driving traffic as we should. And so when I took a look at that thing, when I took a look at my analytics, I said to myself, wait a minute. We've been in business for a long time. So we've been in business for a long time. We have a history. We're getting referrals. We have a lot of word of mouth, kind of advertising that's driving business and growth for us. But to have all that and to not see the traffic results in either our site or our YouTube is something that is concerning. And so we want to do best practices as a business, and we want to practice what we preach, put our best foot forward, and give you a glimpse at behind the curtain to see how it's done. If you're looking at what we do and you go, oh, that totally makes sense, but I don't have the time to do that. Like, I totally would love to do that. I just don't have time. I'm too busy. I'm too this. I'm too whatever. That's what Mañana no Mas is here for. We offer fractional CMO services. So if you need to refresh your website, if you want to add, e-learning for your remote employees as an internal learning base to your website, reach out to us. Give us a shout. If you're like, yeah, I know I should be doing SEO, I just haven't found the time to do it. You're in the same position we were in, right? But like I said, we offer that service for other people. So give us a shout. Hit us up on the contact link from mañananomas.com. Did want to just take some time, share with you what we do, take the mystery out of it, and then let you know that if you need these services provided for your organization, we are 100% available for you. So jump in, enjoy the series. Am I going to push for subscriptions and notifications and all that stuff? If you want to see the rest of the series and not miss stuff, then absolutely do all that stuff. Like, follow, share, all of that. Get the notifications. And as we develop this SEO plan and you come along on the journey with us and we share the results through our analytics, hopefully it's something that you will see value in. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.